It's a case the Supreme Court doesn't want. Both of the University of Texas cases, though the plaintiff did win them, she never ended up at the University of Texas, and the guidelines that were sent down were a little ambiguous. So maybe the universities in the country do need some firm guidelines. It'll be a couple of years before it gets there.
I mean, it's fascinating when you think about this, because affirmative action was supposed to create some more diversity on college campuses, right? So now it's like, oh, well, all of these Asian students are doing so well that they're taking up too much space. So back off while we make room for some of these other groups.
The math demonstrates that if you take a seat away from a qualified person because of their race in order to give it to somebody else, there's a winner and there's a loser. And if the loser is actually more academically qualified than the winner, how are they going to justify that? Well, the courts have said race may be taken into account as long as it is one of many factors. It can't be the dispositive factor, and it can't be the factor they weigh the heaviest, but they may take it into account.
All right. Now, what about the question of it being a private institution? And why do they have to answer to who they let in and who they don't? Because we know they take a lot of legacy students. They take athletes.
Correct.
They take, I mean, you know, the mix is more about that perhaps than
some of the internal research shows that if you are, say, a faculty member, if you're an offspring of a faculty member, you have 50%.
50%?
Wow.
And the admissions rate is what, like 9 or something?
Right. If you're a recruited athlete, it's over 80%. And even if you're a child of an alumni, it's over 33%, which is probably better than what you're doing as an Asian American student at just close to 25% acceptance.
So to answer your question, the Supreme Court cases that we're talking about are the University of Texas, which is owned by the state.
Right.
And the state government cannot apply race.
So this is different.
This is a private university, but in 2017 alone, received over $600 million in federal dollars. They have $30 billion.
They don't need any money from the federal government
in cash in the bank, and they got $600 million from the feds. When they accepted that $600 million, they agreed they would not discriminate on the basis of race as one of many conditions.
So if they turn down the money in the future, they will have less of an argument. They can probably do what they want.
Correct. Could you see them turning down that kind of money?
Well, they have so much money, Judge.
They don't need anymore.
They don't need federal dollars probably at Harvard. Do you think that race should be completely removed from the equation so that nobody checks any boxes and they only look at your numbers and your qualifications?
I would agree. I would think from the Asian American cultural perspective, it should be a meritocracy, meaning it should be based on your academic scores, your extracurricular activities, and nothing ambiguous like my personality, which is so subjective. I mean, courage, bravery, saying that Asian American students lack that, it's insulting.
It is insulting to ascribe to everyone the attributes of one or two just because they're in the same group. Absolutely insulting. But it's a private university, and they're allowed to insult. They're not the government.
Fascinating. I'm going to be watching this. Thank you so much. Great to see both of you tonight.